This is Fieldsports Channel News. Hunt Sabs from North Wales have complained of a shooter running one of them over. A couple of dozen Sabs descended on Walshaw Estate in West Yorkshire on the 12th of August 2020, ending an opening day driven grouse shoot mid-morning. After shooters left, police turned up and Sabs claimed that this angry shooter returned in his car. Sabs allege he drove into one of them, knocking him to the ground and running over another Sab's belongings. According to the group's Facebook post, police asked the driver to do a breathalyzer test but didn't take any action, leaving the Sabs disappointed. Don't get fussed about wildlife crime. That's the message to the Scottish Government from the Scottish Gamekeepers Association. It says that recent reports about raptor killings may be tragic, but they lack perspective, and outcries on social media are fueled by unhealthy doses of misinformation. SGA Chairman Alex Hogg says the comments are becoming increasingly extreme as animal rights groups try to influence Scottish politics. Environment Secretary Rosanna Cunningham is calling for a crackdown on wildlife crime and a review of grouse moors after a white-tailed eagle was found dead in Aberdeenshire. SGA points out that wildlife crime has reduced dramatically over the past decade and incidents are now rare. Meanwhile, Basque marked the opening of the grouse season by taking adverts in several regional newspapers in the north of England and in Scotland to explain the benefits of grouse shooting. The Scottish Gamekeepers Association is also in the news for slamming a report on trapping. The League Against Cruel Sports is drumming up support for a petition by Scottish anti-hunting group One Kind, which calls for a review into the use of traps and snares. The SGA points out the paper was not peer-reviewed and is riddled with estimates and inaccuracies. It's written by anti-hunting academic Stephen Harris, who was called out by fellow academics for misrepresenting science while at Bristol University. The price of venison has been a hot topic recently, with prices plummeting. The Deer Society is holding a webinar this Wednesday night, the 19th of August 2020, live on its YouTube channel. Before lockdown, the price of venison was already under pressure, said to be due to large culls in Europe. After lockdown, prices have dropped below £1 a kilo. The webinar's guests include game dealers and deer managers. This year's Northern Ireland's Game Fair has fallen foul of coronavirus. But like other events, organisers have taken it online to create the virtual Game Fair. The virtualgamefair.com opens its doors on the 29th of August and will run for the rest of this year and all of next. It promises an exciting mix of exhibitors, competitions and bargains galore, which will be accessible by people all over the world. Fieldsports Channel has a virtual stand.
So far, it has been very successful in terms of exhibitor engagement and interest from the market that we already work with. So we feel that this is going to be an ongoing project, which will be another arm to the overall brand.
The Game and Wildlife Conservation Trust has a new book out called Farming with Nature. The book is set to inspire farmers and policymakers with its practical advice about how conservation efforts aimed at the grey partridge can benefit farmland biodiversity. The grey partridge is one of the fastest declining farmland birds in Europe, plunging 90% since the 1970s. Its presence is an indicator of the health of a farm's ecosystem. The book is £12 and can be ordered from the GWCT's website. Link is in the description below. A British bow hunter has started a petition to bring bow hunting back. Calum O'Grady lives in Australia, where he's starring in a reality survival show, Outback Lockdown, with his girlfriend, Kai Furno. The petition is in its early stages and still needs government approval to go ahead. There's a link to it below. It's not the first petition to bring bow hunting back to the UK. A petition 4 years ago ended with only 26 people signing it. Around half of European countries allow bow hunting, with Denmark recently easing restrictions.
The use of a bow and arrow to harvest game is alive in such countries as France, Germany, Italy, Hungary, Spain, Bulgaria, Canada, America, Australia. So why is it illegal in the UK? A country whose rich heritage of use of the bow and arrow dates back as early as the earliest recorded use of a bow some 5,000 years ago.
A Swedish anti-hunting group has been forced to close down because of the lack of members. In a final Facebook post, its admin admitted they were the only person left, as its members had gone and no new paying members had signed up. They said they'd been the only member since the spring. Staying with wolves, and the number of farm animals killed by them in a part of Germany has doubled. 2019 was a record year for animals killed by wolves in Mecklenburg-Vorpommern state, but 2020's total for January to August is twice it was for the same period. The German Ministry for Agriculture said 227 sheep, goats, calves or other animals have been killed or injured. This is more than the whole of 2019, in which 205 sheep, cattle, goats, wildlife and other farm animals were killed or injured by wolves. The Ministry of the Environment came under fire recently for killing a wolf that it claimed was trying to mate with a dog. Thanks to Per Holmseth for the story. Rangers have killed a bear in Canada after it's lost its fear of humans. Conservation officers moved in to kill Huckleberry, as he was called, after reports that locals in Vancouver's North Shore district deliberately allowed him to feed from their bins while they videoed it. The North Shore Black Bear Society says humans are to blame for not shooing the animal away. The Conservation Service says bears that are conditioned to eat human food must be put down because non-lethal solutions usually don't change their behaviour. Kenya's 50-year animal rights experiment is now even angering park rangers and conservationists. With wildlife worth almost nothing, a plan to fence Nairobi's national park is, they say, the latest in a long-term plan to turn the country into a zoo. Some species have recorded a 70% decline in the last 40 years. The government blames that on human activity and invasive species. Maasai tribal leaders are threatening street protests if the fence is built. And finally, fancy a hug? Maybe not, but there's a free holiday in it. Finland's Halipu forest in Lapland is offering a week's free accommodation for the winner of the first tree-hugging World Championships. The event is going to be held in the forest, but it's going online instead, so you can enter from anywhere. Deadline is the 29th of August 2020. All you need to do is take a photo of you hugging your favourite tree and send it along with the coordinates of the tree and a short explanation about why you think the tree is special. You are now up to date with Fieldsports Channel News. Stalking the stories, fishing for facts.